Hey everybody, here I am in Marblehead, Massachusetts, USA, and it's snowing. It's so exciting. I've just had my hair done by the fabulous Lexi. I've had a colour and a blow dry, and very shortly we're going in to speak to the owners, Kim and Rich, and they've got some awesome things to share with you guys. Okay, come on in. They've got an awesome salon, and it's warm in here. Okay, here I am in Bliss Salon. What do you think of this wall? How cool is this wall? I love this wall. And this is the wonderful Kim and Rich, who are both in partnership together in Bliss Salon. So great that you spend this time with us today. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
A pleasure, yeah.
Look, your salon's beautiful. I've just loved the service that I received, I have to say. You've just got so much taste in what you've put together here. I have to congratulate you. Well done.
Thank you. Thanks. It's fun to do.
Yeah. And it's a lot of hard work, being in business.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Designing it so it's got the most function, but it's comfortable for clients to come in and feel like they're family, but have it be invigorating and remove them from their everyday, so they feel transported. We always felt that the space is really important to have people have a nice experience.
Yeah, for sure. So tell me, what is it in salon business? What do you think has changed the most over the last couple of years? There've been a lot of changes in business, yeah? What have you noticed?
I think the focus on retail being more and more important. I think a lot of businesses are realizing we spoke about it with David, the gear on the oils for the operation, that you're really working on the margins with services, and that retail is able to really cushion a lot of that. The manufacturers have done a great job with battling diversion over the last few years, and really making sure that their products, the ones that care, Orbe is an example, that they're not ever going to be seen in Sephora or CVS or any of the drugstores. That combat is really important. And I think focusing back on the technical too. David and I spoke a lot about that there's, as he said, and I think he's accurate, people focus on what maybe espressos or martinis you have and forgetting about the structure of haircuts and color. So I think those are two of the big things that we've seen, that people are getting back to that, the real recommitment to educating their people well.
Actually, really great point. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I absolutely want to jump on what you said about retail. That's something that we, get on our high horse about a little bit. Retail is something that is very much discussed out there by the industry, and there are a lot of people who are very much against the product companies, blaming their retail going online for the reason that they can't retail in the salon. What's your opinion on that?
I think it starts from the beginning, the culture, and Kim, when she started her career, was always a great retailer. She understood it, and it's not sales. It's prescribing, and it's helping the client have great hair for the 6 weeks in between. Their hair shouldn't just look great for the immediate appointment and right after, that they, as a consumer, have the right to understand how they can recreate that look at home. It's an old theory, but and I think just culturally, if you talk to the stylist about the power of retail, and that it's actually like a calling card for them, that when they smell the scent of the shampoo, it triggers a memory about their stylist. Oh, I have to book an appointment or something like that. So I think it's a powerful tool. It's also directly linked to their education here. So their retail sales, they benefit in their education. We've opted not to do a percentage or any of those things. The salon requires as much revenue as it can, and then we dole it out accordingly to efforts based on their sales, to what education and what caliber education they go to. The ones that do really well will fly down to Miami to a Vidal Sassoon class or an LBP class or something like that. So we also there are some drivers there, so if they exceed retail sales, they get an incentive as well with either paid time off or something like that. But really, culturally, right from the get-go, from the minute they're hired, they're really expected to perform that. That's part of the service. It doesn't end when the cape comes off. It really does finish at the retail and then with pre-booking.
Brilliant. So you don't think online sales take away from what you do?
I do. The e-commerce, you're never going to change that. It's an evolving thing. And even with Amazon, I think you're going to see the smarter companies actually join Amazon so they can control what's out there. Because currently right now, even if you look, Davines is on Amazon, every company is on Amazon, and it's Amazon's right. The only way you can beat it is by joining them, unfortunately, but you control who the distributor is. So all of those unrecognized distributors get backed out, and the one distributor gets recognized, so at least they can control it. So if you were to go on Amazon right now, you may see a couple hundred different products from what are supposed to be exclusive lines. I believe that there's going to be a change in that. It's a tricky thing to explain, Karen, to the salons that built their business. But I think if it's done right, you do understand that. Some of it is never going to go away. It's the unfortunate side of it. But I think if you look to see who is really making an effort to shut those doors and to be aggressive with diversion or whatever you want to call it, those are the companies that really have partnerships with their network. And there's a lot that don't. A lot that do not care. They rely on the salons to build their business, and then we get whatever we get. And I think you're seeing a change in that, and we work with a couple different companies that are very distinguished in that sense. They're doing everything they can to combat those things. So.
Fantastic. So education, it's something you're very passionate about, and you've got your own program, I believe.
Yes. Yeah. From the start, I remember before we opened the salon, Rich had always said to me, "What do you want it to be like?" And I said, "I know what I don't want it to be like." And I felt like that was more important, but the most important was educating the staff and making sure that they're in constant, ongoing education and that it never stops. So we've had our own training program. It's been a little dicey. We've done certain things, kind of steered away from that, went into a different direction. Now we're really just trying to get organized. We have a good couple of, programs that we're going to start initiating this year and kind of see how that goes.
Brilliant. So you grow your own people, yeah? Is that what you believe in?
Absolutely. Yep. No baggage.
Yeah. Very few hires from outside. Yeah. We really believe you have to bake them to make them.
Yep. And right out of school. Yeah.
So what do you think of beauty schools out there? That's another bit of controversy that we find in our travels.
We discussed it with David earlier, actually, Karen, and it is a huge disappointment. I shared with David that for Massachusetts, where we are, the cosmetology board has an 82-year-old, a 76-year-old, and somebody else who's elderly. And they have been entrenched for the better part of 30 years. So nothing has changed within the program, and the state has no pressure to change that. So it's really frustrating. We were in several advisory boards to hear this information, and it was just kind of staggering that the burden really is on the salon owners, 90%. They're really trained in sanitation and how to take a state exam. There's really nothing in the curriculum about customer service or consultation or any of these critical components that they really could spend a month on and give them some kind of broad spectrum about what to expect. So it's an unfortunate thing, and you've seen some big companies really evolve over the last few years trying to change that direction in terms of private schools, where they still meet the state's requirements, but they go more in depth. And it's difficult. It's challenging for us because when they come to our door, they do not know how to cut hair. So you're really starting from square one, which is why we commit such a big part of capital and energy to grooming them. And really the key, Karen, is who's the personality. We
hire personality, train skill.
Yes, exactly. And that really is it. You really have to identify who the person is and are they thick-skinned enough to go through what is a difficult program. So that's really what we look for when we hire. It's truly about their personality and who is this person inside and how passionate are they. So.
Fantastic. So what drives you nuts about the industry? What do you think really needs to change out there, apart from what you've already talked about, actually?
Pricing. I think the overall haircut should definitely be a lot more than it is. It's dragged on at the same price for years, and why?
So what's the average cut and blowout price here for a woman?
I would say about 45.
That would be the average?
40 in this area. Yes.
In our market, yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then and we sell cleansers and conditioners that are 48. See, so it's constantly eroding the value of the actual technician. And the retail isn't stopping. They're marching forward and the consumer's paying it. So there is a real disconnect between the value of the skill and what else they're getting. And they're paying, so if somebody buys a Gold Lust, we'll use an example from Morbay. If they buy a cleanser and conditioner, it's $106 and their haircut's $45.
Wow.
So it really is, to me, it's a huge disconnect, and we can't seem to get over that hump as an industry as a whole in the United States. I believe as of 2015 now, the average haircut in the United States is still at 55.
Wow.
And that's not a lot. It's not a lot. So there's been a devaluation through, I believe, salons that maybe aren't as passionate or as focused.
Buy themselves a job, yeah?
Exactly. And they run the till like it's theirs, do you know? So there's a lot of disconnects there, and unfortunately, that's been the pattern for a better part of 20 years. And we reflect back to what it was like in the 40s and 50s, where the hairdresser was as valued as your attorney or your doctor. It was really a specialized thing that had a tremendous amount of respect, and that's been eroded slowly and has not bounced back. So that to me is frustrating.
So what do we need to do as an industry? What do we need to do to get on the right track with that?
Be courageous.
Raise the bar.
Be courageous.
In all directions.
Value yourselves.
Yeah.
Value what you do. And have that come out.
Hear that? Value what you do.
Exactly.
Yes.
I think that really is. And I think we as a whole devalue what we do. There's a lot of shrinking. I'm guilty of it too at times when we discuss price increases, but also I'm always making sure that there's enough runway, that we've got longevity over time. But Kim reminds me all the time that no, we have to be right at that edge. And people, I think there's a respect level that comes from pricing.
Yes.
Because I think there is a psychology that says, oh, this must be better because I'm paying more. Even though I know in some circumstances it absolutely isn't, and what we provide here I'm confident with is on par with some of the great salons in our area. So there is that to me is the most frustrating part, is the devaluation.
So what are you charging here for a cut and blowout?
There's a range.
Yeah. Okay.
So they do. They start even here at 45 for the newest people, and they go all the way up to Kim, who's 95.
95.
For a
Okay.
cut.
Yeah.
And that's the top.
Yeah.
And then we've got 70s, 65s, 55s.
55.
So we have a nice range. But we're tied to that bottom number too. We're not exempt from it.
So where should that bottom number be?
I'd say 60.
I was going to say 65. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That to me is reasonable. If you look at a massage, a massage, they're always between 80 and maybe 100
and 110 for an hour, and once you get off the table, the massage is over. You're not walking around with a massage
you don't get
on
to
you.
wear it for
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's men's and women's biggest accessory to us, Karen. I mean, truly, your hair. That's the first thing women look at.
Yeah. The other point I wanted to make was also what Rich said was, David and I talked about this too, was pricing for men's cuts. Why is it different? Still an hour of your time is an hour of your time. So why does it have to vary so much?
Absolutely. Yes, of course. If we go to the doctor, it costs the same per minute.
The dentist?
Yes.
That's our time.
Exactly. Blocks of time. That's our business.
Yeah.
So.
Brilliant. I could talk about this for hours. However, I'm not going to keep these people for hours. So one last thing that I just want you to share with everybody out there, one biggest piece of advice you ever got in salon business that has really, truly helped you?
For me, it's been stick to like your goal. Listen to what people say and take it in, and don't react so quickly, but to really stick to your goal, and if plan A doesn't work, go to plan B and keep evolving as time goes on, because our industry evolves every minute and you have to stay on top.
Brilliant. So never give up.
Yeah, never give up.
Nice.
Yes. And even a mistake can be the biggest learning lesson you have. So that's always good too. Even when you don't think it is at the moment, but it is.
Awful at the time.
Yeah. How about you, Rich?
Mine would be the culture. Protect the culture and cultivate the culture, meaning the whole group as a whole. It becomes its own energy, and for us, the culture either accepts or rejects whatever the new hire is. But to me, I think it's about protecting that the group environment and making sure that those things are all taken care of. And I think the rest, in many ways, takes care of itself. But the culture is critical. You have to really enjoy where you are every day and the people that you're with, and all, like Kim said, driving forward towards the same goal. But I would say the culture is critical. Not enough salons know what that means or identify it or actually have it established. But your culture really says who and what your business is internally, and that your employees are the internal customer.
For sure.
And that spreads out. So I think protecting that.
Fantastic. I could stand here and talk to these guys all day, I kid you not. And Dave is behind the camera there, by the way. You heard them saying about, they've been talking to Dave a little bit earlier. So he's there doing all the fabulous camera work. It's been so awesome meeting you guys. Thank you so much. It was just such a bonus, it really was. And from a fabulous hair. So thank you. And I'm sure we will talk again.
Absolutely.
Okay, so say bye to all the viewers out there.
Everybody.
Bye.
Good luck in the salon world.
Thank you.